Yo, 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 what's up, guys? Welcome to the first episode of Real Talk. In this episode, I want to talk about the issues we face playing on official server. PS4, Xbox, PC, you name it. It's the same issue. The biggest issue, DDoSing, rollbacks, duping. Yeah, I've got some footage that I want to run through. We attempted a wipe on server 270, NA270. We tagged along with a couple of mates that were going for a server wipe, and essentially we got through to the end of we're basically down to their core after pushing through a number of their defenses on center map, and they started rolling back the server, which basically is what this game has got to. This game has got to the point where at the higher end, you're only as good as the amount of DDoSes, people that can roll back servers. And that sucks. Like, the game shouldn't be played like that at all. We've got a bit to go through. I'll try and make it as fast as possible. So let's get stuck into it. Alright guys, so this is where we sort of kicked off. We loaded in, set up in the bear cave on center. We had a few tribes with us, so we obviously we had a few different setups going. We had vaults ready with gear, stuff that we had brought prefabbed obviously for the raid. Following that, we moved over to the flyer entrance on center and started to tank the first lot of defenses. Alright, and this is basically where we spent the bulk of the fight. After absolutely demolishing their main entrance and turret defenses up top, we broke through to the underworld and got down into basically the start of their core. And this is where, as you can see, they've got a bunch of dupe gigas, all the same color and the same level. And this is where we pretty much had the bulk of the battle. And we did really well. Like we pushed deep into their core. Behind those gigas is a death wall of turrets. Every time those turrets fired, we lost somebody due to DCing. But as you can see, straight off the bat, we've raged nearly all their gigas. And that's the difference between bred gigas and dupe gigas. You might get the imprinting bonus, but you don't have the rider bonus. And we just absolutely smashed them in this first fight, which unfortunately wasn't the last for us. As you'll see, they all come from behind, plant force field, and this is where the DDoSing and the rollbacks all started happening. They couldn't take an L and essentially kept us here at this location, repeating the same thing over and over again until basically they had the advantage and came from behind and underneath the map to wipe all the gigas out, which was pretty shit. Essentially, they needed to roll back the server to stop us from wiping them. Alright, and as you can see, they've rolled back the server after we've blown up the force field. The force field's come back into play, and this may or may not be the right footage in the right sequence, but essentially that's all they kept on doing. Every time we destroyed the force field, every time we blew past or drained their turrets, they would roll back the server. And one of the things they were doing with DDoS, which was really tricky, was when they rolled back, they were waiting for us to pull out tanks to drain before they would crash the server. So by us pulling it out, there wasn't a save point, so we would lose our teams. And it was a really dodgy way, you know, on their part to defend. And I don't think I've ever ran into a situation where it's been that bad. We've had examples in the past where people have DDoS the server to stop us from going forward, but eventually it stops. This didn't stop. This was constant, and this was probably about 3 or 4 hours of them rolling back a server to the same point to give themselves the advantage to do what I'm about to show you next. So not only were they constantly rolling back to the server to the same point, which was before we had broke the force field and drained the chokehold's turrets at that death wall. As you can see in this footage here, they were shooting and playing underneath the map as well. So it was a bit of a fight. Had we not had to deal with the DDoSing and the under the map gameplay, we would have smashed them, and they would have been destroyed. We pushed through to their core in the space of 10, 12 minutes. So, but that brings me to the point of the video, which is DDoS in general is, booting is basically the core problem with Ark in its current format. So thanks again for the support, guys. If you haven't already, please do like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.